Hello, Gooby here. Today I'd like to talk about breaking out of the lie of an unhealthy relationship. Well, it's usually multiple lies. In my life, I've been blessed with many healthy relationships. I've also experienced unhealthy relationships throughout my whole life. And there's something curious about those unhealthy relationships that is the subject of this talk. And it's the lie that we tell ourselves to keep going, to continue those relationships that are hurtful, destructive, that bring suffering and strife. Now, there's a number of reasons why you might continue an unhealthy relationship, because I think deep down nobody wants to keep getting hurt or hurting themselves. I think deep down people want to have well-being. They want their being to be well. I think that's the case. But I think that we also have the amazing capacity to lie to ourselves, to fool ourselves, to rationalize, to make up reasons, even make up complete fantasies in order to continue doing what we're doing if we're in a hurtful relationship. And that hurt not only hurts yourself, but it hurts the other person and the people surrounding who are connected. Now, I look back at some of these relationships I've had, and I think before I used to think of myself as like a victim, like, oh my gosh, how could that person do that to me? How could they be that kind of person? Like, why did this happen to me? Why did the universe make this happen to me? Did I deserve this? I didn't deserve this. I used to think of things in that way. But I've been really coming around to this idea, this understanding, I think. It's more than just an idea, an understanding that that my internal state, the way that my relationship with myself manifests in the outer world, the relationships with other people. The way that I treat myself and the way I view myself has been shaped in the past by people close to me or strangers, but people I've interacted with in my past. It has informed my view of myself. But that view of myself also shapes and informs my current relationships and future relationships. In that way, my relationship with myself manifests in the outside world, and so that I've been trying to understand this, and it's been a little bit of a wrestle to try to know what this is, to feel it, to experience it, to accept it, try to understand it. So let's see here. I guess I'll talk about. I'm trying to decide like how to talk about this. There's one relationship that comes to mind, and like the minuscule details are, I don't think that important. It was a girl. It was a girl that I dated, and I liked her a lot, and she liked me too. But it wasn't meant to be. And why is that? Well, I think we both found each other attractive and fun and funny, and she's intelligent and full of personality, and there was something magnetic about her personality. Kind of like draws you in, makes you feel like you're really special, at least in the beginning. We dated for a while, and as time went by, this is not about her. It's about the relationship and this process of going through an unhealthy relationship. So it's not about trying to make this person into a good or bad person. That's not the purpose of this talk. As time went by, I found, looking back, now this took a lot of hindsight. Like I did not come to like realize these things until recently, and this happened like over a decade ago. Over time, I realized that she began treating me as I treated myself at the time. Now, how did I treat myself at the time? Well, let's see here. I was in the midst of residency. I had gone down a path in medicine that I had misgivings about from the beginning. But I had I have a father who's a doctor, and he was able to have, or he still is practicing, a respectable job that pays well, and he finds satisfaction from it, from helping patients. So there was this kind of expectation, look, everything's fine for your dad. You should do the same thing, or something similar. It doesn't have to be the same specialty, but you should go into medicine. It's a good job. Yeah, I had some misgivings about it from the very beginning. I always wanted to do something that was more creative. I thought I wanted to be a writer and a philosopher. Ironically, in middle school, I won these state competitions for National History Day, where I would make documentary films. I did two, and I did it with my classmates, and both times we won. We won the competition for the state. So even when I look way back, I was making videos. Now, my dad helped me edit at the time, and at the time we just had VCR, videotape, literally tape. and editing was something that I didn't quite know how to do. My dad helped me a lot with the editing, and I really liked making documentaries. Yeah, it was like a history documentary. This is an aside, but since I'm talking about it, and I probably won't ever talk about it ever again in a video, I just want to spend some time thinking about it. I made a video. One of the documentaries was about the Battle of Midway, the turning point in the Pacific War. This was after Pearl Harbor, and America and Japan were at war, and Americans figured out where the Japanese fleet was near Midway, and then attacked and handed the Japanese a decisive defeat. One of the documentaries was about that, and the other one was talking about Islamic terrorism. This was before 9/11. This was the late 90s. There were bombings in the Middle East. I can't remember the exact things that I talked about, but there were like bombings of barracks, and I think a ship was a destroyer. I believe it was USS Cole was blown up by a shipborne IED. I think that was in the documentary. But the documentary was talking about how America is the next target. This was late 90s. Interestingly, that was before 9/11, when America was the target. I made these documentaries when I was a kid. I really liked that. I had a lot of fun. But I never thought I would be making film, or whatever you want to call this, video logs, talks, YouTube, social media content, whatever you want to call it. I never thought I'd be doing this. Instead, I went into medicine, and I was not very happy with that choice. I went into neurosurgery, and that was a very tough field. I mean, it is a tough field. Training in it is really tough. Between the really long hours, the really long surgeries, the stress, the in a way hazing. It's sort of like psychologically uncaring, just you gotta tough it out. It doesn't matter if you feel traumatized by what you're seeing or have misgivings about it. You just gotta keep going and get the job done for the patient. It had that kind of uncaring, unnurturing character, and at times psychologically abusive character. This is residency. I remember my chief residents being called numbnuts. Like, one guy was called numbnuts, and the other guy was called hamster. They weren't called their real names, and I asked one of the attendings, "Why do you call him numbnuts?" And then he said, "'Cause if you kick him in the nuts, he can't feel it. He's numbnuts." I'm not making that up. That's kind of the culture of that I was working in. I wasn't very happy. Ironically, now this is the this is the ironic thing. Numbnuts, I would rather call him his real name, but for privacy's sake, I won't say his real name. Numbnuts, he before he was a chief resident, he told me he was working with me when I was a medical student, and he was like, "Hey Gooby," he called me my real name. "Hey Gooby, I really like you, and that's why I'm telling you this. Don't go into neurosurgery. It'll ruin your life." And I was like, "Well, why are you doing it?" And he's like, "I didn't know, and I've ruined my life. Don't do it. It's not worth it." And I thought, wow, this is some weird reverse psychology. Maybe it didn't work out for him, but it'll work out for me. No, it didn't. So yeah, I was going through this experience that was known to wreck people's lives. Here's another example. Like a really famous neurosurgeon who would come do surgeries at this hospital, Japanese guy, he would joke. He had all kinds of jokes. He was also kind of weird. He's dead now, but he was kind of weird in that he would talk about himself in the third person all the time. Like I talk about myself in the third person sometimes in these videos to like make a point. But like this guy talked about himself in the third person all the time. And I'd be like looking around and I'm like, who's he talking about? He's like, oh, he's talking about himself. Well, one of his jokes was neurosurgery is 98%. No, the life of a neurosurgeon is 98% neurosurgery, 1% golf, and 1% ex-wife. Like he thought it was just so funny. I mean, it is kind of funny, but it's kind of sad too. Well, that was like the situation I got myself into. I chose to go there. Why? So why did I choose to do that? I think that has to do with the way that I was treating myself. I thought I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to have well-being. I deserve to suffer and work really hard to try to make other people happy, whether it's my patients or my attendings or my senior residents or my parents or this culture that tells me, hey, you're a smart Asian kid, you should do science and go into medicine and be a doctor and help out humanity, and if you're not, you're wasting your life. Oh, and you should have 3 kids too, because if you don't have kids, you're wasting your smarts and oh yeah, while we're at it, you should buy a house because the economy, and oh yeah, and you should also like donate your time to go to like third world countries and use your medical skills. Oh yeah, and don't forget to the list never ends. It never ends. And I was like, yeah, I got to do all that. I got to do all that because I'm a good person. I'm a nice person. I want to help people. Good people help people. Good people put up with jerks. Maybe one day the jerks will not be jerks. But I'm not a jerk. I'm a good person. Well, one part of me says that, but another part of me says, you don't deserve a happy life. You don't deserve to find happiness and peace. You don't deserve anything good. You're really lazy. You're actually a bad person. What else would I say? You're a jerk inside. You actually are a monster, and you're just hiding it. You're a fake. Oh yeah, that's another one. You're a fake. You don't deserve what you got. Everything you do, you screw up. You're not good at anything. You wish you were good at something, but you're actually not good at it. You're not good at anything. You're not even good at being a boyfriend. You're not even good at being a resident. You're not good at your job. Nobody likes you. Nobody will like you. You don't like yourself. Well, that part was true. I didn't like myself. So there's this like extreme cognitive dissonance between telling myself, oh, I'm a good person, I do good things, I help people, and then telling myself, I'm a horrible person, I am a monster, I'm lazy, I'm not worth anything. There's just this thing. That's the mindset I was in for actually most of my life. Yeah, most of my life. Why? Well, I mean, I think part of it's just growing up. I mean, parents have a lot to do with it, but I think culture has a lot to do with it. The society you live in, the values that are told in stories, in movies, in cartoons, in on the media, mass media, on social media. Although I didn't have social media growing up, thank goodness. Life was a lot simpler back then, in a way. Religion, huge influence on the way that I view myself. I grew up in Oklahoma. I spent until 17 years old in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is the Bible Belt. I was part of the Bible Belt. A particular kind of Christianity that is very prone to black and white thinking, very prone to thinking about the apocalypse. It's really strange. This like obsession with the apocalypse, revelations in the Bible, and then scary things like demons and like sin and failing and not being worthy. It's just like there's so many like avenues in society to absorb these ideas that we are not worth being loved. We are not good enough for something. Like what? What are we not good enough for? It's not just religion. It's school. It's society. It's this competitive capitalist corporate structure. In the workforce, you're replaceable. Like you're just a cog in the machine. If you don't go above and beyond what your colleagues do, you're gonna get booted and be replaced. And companies go out of the way. Let you know that that's the case. That you're replaceable. You're worthless. You're just here because you're useful at this time. But if you make too much of a fuss, if you cause problems and you're a troublemaker and you're out, you're voted off the island without you being able to vote. There's multiple avenues for that. Well, okay, that is essentially the mindset I was in when I was in this relationship. And what I found was that my internal mind state creates the external mind state. This girl, not in the beginning. In the beginning, it's infatuation, excitement, attraction, and nervous anticipation. But later it becomes, and I attribute this really to my internal state. I think that she had a sense of how I treat myself, and so she treated me how I treat myself. That's my interpretation of this part of my life over a decade later. And it's taken me a long time to come to this point, to realize this, and talk about it. It's really, I didn't want to talk about this part of my life for a long time with anybody, especially with myself. But what was interesting was that my relationship with her at that time as a junior resident in neurosurgery, I think started this whole process of me like waking up and realizing, hey, I'm alive and I don't have to do anything to be loved by myself. Just the fact that I'm alive and I'm here, I can love myself. That realization didn't come for a very, very, very long time, but the process of getting there started over a decade ago, towards the end of this relationship. Things kind of came to a head. I thought we were going to get married. But the closer and closer it got to a potential wedding date, I realized, man, this hurts a lot. I'm hurting a lot. I don't think I can keep living like this. This is too painful. Like, the suffering is unbearable. Like, I don't think I can go on. And it wasn't just that relationship. It was me going through residency and treating myself the way that I was treating myself. It was the whole thing. It wasn't just this relationship. And then just one day I was like, before that, there were times when I'm like, I don't think that this is what I want. There's actually several times that I thought that. With that relationship, with doing residency, as far as the residency part goes, I went to one of my medical school advisors, not my original advisor, but that advisor's partner advisor, who she was assigned to other medical students, but she's a psychiatrist. And I was like, oh, she's a psychiatrist, she's really nice, maybe I can just go talk to her, even though I'm not a medical student anymore, but she remembers me, and just tell her like, oh, I'm in trouble, I don't really know what to do. And so I set up a meeting with her, and I told her, like, I'm really unhappy and I don't know what to do. And she said, you need to take some time off, take off at least a month. And I said I can't do that, because we already had a resident quit, and so we're down a person, and if I take a month off, my fellow residents are going to suffer so much. There's no room, there's no like leeway, there's no safety margin for us, that if I'm out for a month, things are just going to not work. So she had really good advice. I should have taken a month off, and if I did, my life would have been in a different place. I'm like 100%. Well, I guess I can't ever be 100% sure, but I'm like pretty close, as close to 100% sure that my life would have been drastically different had I taken a month off. But I'm not 100% sure. But I did not take a month off, I was putting other people in front of myself because I didn't think that I deserved time off to rest and reassess. Nope. No, I gotta just keep doing that thing. So that's an example of like, there's times when I'm like, this is not how I want to live, but I overrode my concerns, my questioning. I overrode it, and I kept going. And I finished residency, and I practiced for over 9 years. So it took me a really long time to finally listen to myself and be like, hey, this is not working, man. But for that was that video, the viral video that I made last year. Me finally coming to the point where I'm like, hey, look, this is not working, and it's very complicated, but you just gotta walk away. And then I did. But see, that was not possible until this first step, which I would say really was the beginning of me realizing that I can love myself, and I don't have to do anything to be loved by myself. Just the fact that I am here and I'm alive is why I should love myself. That first step was realizing, crap, this relationship is very hurtful. And there were times when I was like, this is a very hurtful relationship, and I told the other person, and we convinced each other that no, it'll get better, and we just should try working at it. And we did that process a couple times, and finally I was like, no, it's not getting better. It's not getting better. This is. But the interesting thing is, a lot of the reason why I wasn't getting better was because I didn't change the way I was treating myself. So I'm not blaming the other person. In fact, if that other person sees this video, I want to say that I'm sorry that we had a very hurtful relationship, and I hope that you recovered, and I hope that you have a very happy life with whatever family that you've made, because this happened a long time ago. And I thank you for the time that we had together. I love you in a way. I'm not like I love you like like a spouse to spouse, because we're not. I love you as a person to person. I hope you forgive me for my part in the hurtful relationship. That's what I want to say. We had tried to make things work, and then it just didn't work. And at one point, the pain was just so bad, I couldn't lie to myself anymore. So that's the interesting thing, is like, you can become so invested in a relationship, whether it's a boyfriend or girlfriend, a mom or dad, or both, an authority figure like a president, or some religious figure, a pastor, or a priest, or monk, or druid, I whatever religion you can think of. I don't remember the name for a Muslim religious elder. I think it's an imam, but I'm not 100% sure. a shaman, you know. I'm just thinking of, like, I'm trying to be inclusive of spaghetti monster delegate, appointee. I'm just trying to be inclusive of a lot of different religions. You can become so involved with these relationships, and like, it's almost like a sunk cost fallacy. You've invested so much time and emotions, effort, thoughts, energy in these relationships that you're like, oh no, I can't possibly walk away from this. I'm just gonna go down with the ship. I can't even imagine just walking away. I think I would die if I walk away. I'd rather just go down with the ship. I know it's sinking, but that's just my life. That's just the life I chose. I gotta go down with the ship. I'm gonna be honorable to my devotion to this hurtful enterprise. That it sounds really insane when you say it out loud like that. And in order to do that, you got to keep telling yourself like these layers of lies that you live in. And people around you, I remember people around me at the time were like, "Hey, are you all right? Yeah, haha. That other person, huh? Yeah, You know, but they care about you. They want you to be happy, but they've expressed concerns, and then you're like, oh no, everything's fine. I'm fine. You know, that way of when someone says I'm fine, they're not fine. No. I'm all right. They're not all right. Yeah. You can like trick yourself for a really long time. You can be like stuck in, it's like wrapped in layers of your own lies. You can't really see straight. What you see is not real. What you think is real is not. It's actually a lie. You think it's real, and you can't see the truth. Well, actually, you can see the truth. You just don't let yourself. That's where the lies come in. You lie to yourself. You're like, okay, I kind of see the truth. No. This is the way it is. I was just second guessing myself, but no, this is the way it is. But it's not that way. You know, that's. People can live their whole lives doing that. They can go to the grave, literally go down with the ship, that way. But I think for me, there just came a point where the pain was so bad that it pierced through that veil of lies that I was telling myself. And it wasn't a complete piercing. It was more like some light poked through, like a little pinhole. And I'm like, oh wait, why am I living this life that hurts so bad? Because I kind of chose to do this, and that means I can choose to not do this. But I don't know how to do that. And so I just I didn't know how to do it, so I just packed up as many of my belongings in 2 big black grocery bags, like the giant garbage bag. 2 big black plastic garbage bags, the ones that like you can fill like the huge drum trash can that you see at big box stores, like the big round one. Like I had 2 of those. I filled those 2 up with all my belongings I could think of, my laptop, clothes, and toiletries, and some books and stuff, and I moved out because I was living with this person. I just moved out, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. And I left. I was really confused. Like, my world, the way that I made sense of the world now was overturned. The way that I am related to myself is overturned. It's not like one day you go from being really mean to yourself to the next day being like, oh, I love you, and I'm going to do the best I can to take care of you, because I'm you, and might as well take good care of us, have good well-being. It doesn't happen overnight, because I guess it's because the way all the neurons are connected in our brain, or it's like neuroplasticity. It's like you keep going one direction for your whole life, and then all of a sudden you're like, actually I want to go that direction, the other way. But you've gone this other way so many times that when you come to the next decision point, you go the other way again, even though you want to go a different direction. But now it takes immense effort to go the other direction, and sometimes you do, and other times you fall back into going the other way, and it can be disappointing. Addictions are like this. People who have been addicted to alcohol or drugs or substances of some kind, like nicotine, gambling, whatever. There's a lot of things that you can be addicted to. Video games, just social, like doom scrolling on social media. It doesn't just happen like, oh, I want to treat myself better, I'm going to do it, and then you just do it. It doesn't quite happen that way. It's really kind of like a bone-crushing effort that it takes to like change course. If you imagine yourself as a big ship, it takes time to change course. You're not just heading in one direction, like on this big body of water, and then all of a sudden you're heading the other direction. You gotta like turn the rudder, and then it takes time for the ship to turn, and then you gotta turn the wheel the other way so that you don't keep turning and go in a circle. Because if you go in a circle, you're gonna end up just going back the same way. Possibly, or you might just be stuck and just going in a circle. So you gotta turn the wheel, turn the ship, and then when you're headed the direction you want to go, you gotta turn the wheel the other way and straighten out. It takes time. Well, I think the viral video was, and the videos this past year that I've been making have been me like figuring out where I want to head. Like the past year, that viral video and these past year of videos have been me like, my ship is turning. I probably was going in circles for a little bit, and I'm like looking at all the directions that I could possibly go, and I'm like, crap, where do I go? I think I want to go that way, but that way looks kind of cool too. Oh, that way looks really bad. Definitely staying away from that. But I'm not sure which way to go. And so like I had already made the turn, and either I was going in a circle or I was trying to decide where to go. And I'm straightening the wheel out, so turning it the other way to like head in this direction now. And I feel like that's where I am now. But the story that I'm talking about in this video was when I was headed straight in this path that was not good for me. And I took the wheel, and I'm like, screw this, turning the wheel. I don't know what to do, and I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't even know there's a wheel here. I guess I always knew there was a wheel, but I lied to myself and told me there is no wheel and that this is the only way. But now all of a sudden this wheel has appeared in my mind, in my soul, and I was just going to yank on it and then get the heck out of here. That was that time. I think that's what really started all this, and that was over a decade ago. Yeah. But it really wasn't until recently that I shifted my thinking about that whole event, because I was thinking of myself as a victim. I was like, oh my gosh, how could I have been victimized by that person? How did I let myself be gaslit by that person? But that wasn't actually, I mean, maybe that's part of the story, but maybe it's not actually the story. I think now that I look back on it, I think the story really was, why did I treat myself the way I did and talk to myself the way I did? How did I gaslight myself for so long? It's incredible. That realization, I actually didn't really come until like a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even last week, because I was thinking about it. And yeah, I was like, wait a second, I'm not the victim. Well, I guess I am the victim and the perpetrator at the same time, to myself. I victimize myself. I mean, there's multiple layers to this. You can say, oh, well, that's just a victim blaming themselves. Maybe. But I think there's on the surface, you could say that, but on the deeper level, I think that the internal state that we have manifests in the outer state. That's what I think is, at least to me, the deeper meaning of this story, this experience, and the story I'm conveying to you. Yeah. So now I'm way more mindful about how I talk to myself, how I treat myself, because I know that other people will treat me the way that I treat myself. I know that my experience in this life will be affected by what I believe about my own well-being or lack of well-being. Yeah. It also taught me, here's another important thing that I think is important in times like now, when there seem to be a lot of bullies and abusive people in places of power. Or not even in places of power, just on social media. One thing that I realize is that bullies and abusive people only have as much power as you give them. Is that true? I think it's true. In my life, the bullies and abusive people that I've come across and lived with, and sometimes lived with for a very long time, they only had as much power as I was willing to give them. And at some point, when I was like, I'm just, this is not good. I'm not going to give you power over me. And then it was over. So I think that's an important thing, but I didn't come to that point without first putting my own well-being at the center. Now that can sound like a selfish thing, self-centered. Some people on this YouTube channel comment that, oh, there goes Gooby navel gazing again, like looking at my belly button. But you can call it what you want, honestly. You can think of it what you want. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm just sharing my story of what I think. And I think that how I treat myself is really powerful. And other people only get as much power over me as I give to them. So yeah, those are some really really hard lessons I learned that took a really long time, like a really, really long time. Oh, I'm glad I could share that. This is the end of the video, and I just want to share with you the beauty of the world here. This is, a lot of people ask, like, hey, Gooby, where are you? Where is this place? And most of the time I don't share the exact details because there are so many beautiful places in the world. Like, I don't want to say, oh, this is a place that's so beautiful, and everyone's like, oh, I gotta get to that one place because that's so beautiful. When in reality, there's like an infinite number of beautiful places. You just gotta go outside and look. This place is the Puget Sound, though. I'm not going to tell you the specific place because really, if you go almost anywhere on this Puget Sound, as long as you're a little bit farther away from cities and like loud combustion engines, I mean, it's really beautiful. What a beautiful day. Well, I hope you have a good day. I'm going to just hang out here with Doobie now. Bye.